Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor. India is one today, equal in love, and in a historic judgment, the Supreme Court has legalized homosexuality. The top court read down Section 377, which is a 158-year-old colonial law, and said that homosexuality is not a crime in the country anymore, and it is not a mental disorder. Consensual, carnal intercourse amongst adults, be it homosexual or heterosexual, in private space does not in any way harm the public decency or morality. That's what Depak, Misra, Chief Justice of India, had to say. The Supreme Court overruled, remember, its own 2013 decision and partially struck down Section 377, a controversial British-era law that banned consensual gay sex. Let's now bring up, some of the top courts that came out of the constitutional bench. Remember, it's a 5-member bench. They were all concurrent, meaning they all agree to the same thing. But let's bring out the top courts from the Supreme Court. Chief Justice of India, Dipak Misra, went out to say that not for nothing, the great German thinker, he quoted him and said, "I am what I am, so take me as I am. Consensual sex among adults is private space, does not harm public decency or morality." Justice Nariman went out to say that homosexuals have a fundamental right to live with dignity. One of the things that has been most talked about today through the verdict has been what Justice Indu Malhotra came out to say. She said, history owes an apology to the LGBTQ community and their families for the delay in providing redressal for the ignominy of which has been on and suffered through the centuries. Now, Justice Chandrachud, also went out to make when he was reading out his part of the verdict, came out to say that civilization has been brutal. The lethargy of law is manifest yet again. All right, let's go across to all our reporters on the ground now to get a sense of how is India actually responding on this day of Pride. We've got Maya Sharma joining us from Bangalore and Akhilesh here in the studio. Maya, over to you first. Through the day, we've seen people at times cry, at times hug, at times just come out and really scream their lungs out, saying that they're finally happy that they're seeing the light of the day. What is the reaction of people where you are?
It's been absolutely amazing, a hugely positive reaction from the entire LGBTQ community, because until now they've not always got the support that they needed. Some places, though, have been encouraging. This flag was unfurled here at the Lalita Ashok in Bengaluru, a hotel which has been very supportive of the community. And it was, in fact, unfurled by Tony Matthew. Like Tony, you did... Alex Matthew, you did, in fact, unfurl that flag, Alex.
Yes.
You've come a long way, because earlier you have actually lost jobs.
Yes. It's come a long way because I have been, subjected to being feminine and being a drag queen, and that is the reason why I lost a job.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I'd come to a place where actually the whole team supports me for who I am, and they're ready to support me for being a gay man as well as being a drag queen. Now, where do you get places like this? You don't get this often, so yeah.
And this was even before the law changed.
Yes.
You said you lost jobs. Did you try to fight against that? Did you try to fight against the corporates who had hired you earlier?
Yes, it was like fighting a losing battle. I tried my best. I tried reasoning out to them, but they were not ready to listen. They were not ready to okay, you know what, well, let's figure a way out. No. So I was like, I'd rather go to a place where they'll accept me the way I am.
Absolutely. Sandhya, you're head of marketing and communication here at the hotel. Alex's story is sadly not a rare one. People get harassed in corporates because of who they are and their life choices. This hotel didn't wait for the law to change.
Yes, the first time that I met up with Alex, we wanted somebody from the community to be a part of Kitiko. Mr. Keshav Suri, the executive director of the Lalit Suri Hospitality Group, has really worked hard and has imposed a lot of policies for the community, be it a mediclaim, be it a sensitization amongst the group, or be it drag acts. Like for today, it is definitely a time for celebration. At Kitiko, we have the entire community who has been partying with us since last year, since the inception of Kitiko, and we are expecting a huge crowd to be a part of it. And Alex, Maya the drag queen, is also performing tonight.
Yes, Alex as Maya, the drag queen, and while society and your earlier employees may not have been so encouraging, your mother was a huge support.
Yes. Initially, she wasn't. She she gave me a sari and a blouse, and just for a first performance. But our second performance, she wasn't. I had to go and make her understand that this is just an art form, and this is what I love to do. And with that, she was able to understand what I'm going through. And now she helps me pack my suitcase and says all the best for my performances. So yeah.
That is really wonderful. That's really wonderful. So that is support here.
Yeah.
The support given to the community even before the Supreme Court judgment. Hopefully more corporates will actually take this example, and going ahead, it will not be difficult for people like Alex to actually keep on to their jobs. They will not have to justify their life choices, and they certainly won't have to lose their jobs because of who they choose to be. That is a sense of celebration here. There was actually a tea party, cake cutting here earlier for the employees of the hotel to celebrate the judgment that came out earlier today.
Maya, I'm sure you're waiting down for the big performance in the evening as well, as we see, Alex there take on Maya the Queen there. We're waiting out for that one as well. I'm joined by Sam Daniel as well. But before I go to Sam, I want to get in a word from Akhilesh. Akhilesh, while the country is celebrating, we had two different opinions coming in from the right wing. The BJP on one hand has gone out to say that, well, we never obstructed it in court anyways. For the record, the BJP, when asked for its opinion in court, when it was being reviewed by the Supreme Court, did come out to say that they're not taking a stand there, but they're happy to see what the court comes up with. But many are saying that BJP's silence also spoke volumes, as then that meant that they agreed with status quo.
Well, the political parties have to consider first thing, the priority is the vote, and they believe that our parties are traditionally believe that in a conventional society like India, people don't go by taboo, whether the homosexuality is a taboo. They don't prefer the political parties to take a stand. But as far as the BJP is concerned, you rightly mentioned about the position taken by the Modi government before the Supreme Court. They had left it upon the Supreme Court to take a stand on this, and they had already said that whatever the Supreme Court decides, they will go by this. But as far as the BJP is concerned, Sonal, I must recall that senior Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and the senior BJP leader was the first one to take a stand on this subject. I remember him saying in November 2015 that the High Court judgment was correct, where the 377 was decriminalized, and Mr. Jaitley was the first senior leader of the party to take a public stand on this subject. But the government had already taken a position that it will go by whatever the Supreme Court says. And as far as the Congress party is concerned, the Congress party had a different view when the matter came before the High Court in 2009. The UPA one had opposed decriminalization of 377, but later they took a U-turn, and in the Supreme Court they had said that whatever the court decides, they will go by that. So the Congress and the BJP positions remained the same. But the big question is whether the political parties actually had the option to bring a law in the parliament. Why didn't they do it? It's a big question.
Isn't that the main thing, that we could have actually had the political parties bring in much earlier? Shashi Tharoor also spoke that he tried to introduce that bill in parliament but did not see light of the day. Before we let you go, Akhilesh, just want to point out towards the RSS statement also that we've got, and we can bring up that graphic for our viewers there. The RSS has given out a statement saying that gay marriage and relationship are not compatible with nature and are not natural. So we do not support this kind of relationship. Traditionally, India's society does not recognize such relationships. So Akhilesh, there on one hand, the BJP is going out to say that, well, they did not take a stand, but they did not oppose it either. But RSS even today, the think tank, so to say, or the ideological father of the BJP is going out to say that they still oppose it.
They oppose the things like gay marriage and also the inheritance question and also adoption. These are the issues which are not before the country right now. But it's very important to note, Sonal, that the RSS has supported the Supreme Court judgment decriminalizing gay sex, and which is a very big shift in RSS position. And this shift had come in 2016 when Dattatreya Hosbale, who is a senior RSS leader, who had publicly said that RSS does not support criminalization of gay sex. And I believe that that was a big shift in RSS position. And after that, the BJP and the the government also shifted their position. So today's statement has two parts. One part where they are supporting the Supreme Court judgment decriminalizing gay sex, but also the second part says that they don't support the relationship as per, and they also said there are bigger questions coming up like gay marriage and also adoption and also inheritance. These are the questions which are not right now before the public, not before the nation, but when these questions come, RSS certainly do not support these positions.
All right, Akhilesh, thank you so much for all that perspective there on how political parties playing it very safe when it comes to the question of LGBTQ rights. But today, everybody trying to get a piece of their cake by saying that, well, we never obstructed it either. RSS, though, coming out to give a statement on that, saying that it is not natural to have such relationship. We'll go to Sam Daniel now, also joining us from the ground. Sam, just give us a sense of where you are, and you know, India is celebrating today. So what is it, and where's the party tonight where you are?
Well, Sonal, in Chennai, at many pockets, actually, there are celebrations going on where LGBT activists have cut cakes, danced, waved their rainbow flags, and they're completely in a celebratory mood. And yes, it's party time for them tonight. But I have with me two well-informed youngsters who are not part of that LGBT community, but they are very, very happy for them. Let's speak to them. Dhanushri and Nivedita, thank you very much for your time. Why are you happy for this community?
So because, you know, each individual have their own right to life. So these people enjoy choosing their same sexual partners. So I'm very happy that the Supreme Court has given us such a very happy decision, and it's a very happy day for all of us.
Nivedita, you said one of your friends is an LGBT activist herself. And what kind of problems, harassment they've suffered, which you have seen?
They have not been treated equally in the society, even though they were discriminated. Even though the court has given the verdict, they are not criminals, yet they has to be recognized in society legally, and it's in the hands of the youngsters to take the revolution very well.
And change in mindset, that's going to be a challenge now?
It's surely for them, because even though the Supreme Court has given such a good decision, but these people, they have a very challenge to, you know, the society has to accept these people. Slowly, I think slowly the society will start changing.
Youngsters?
Surely.
Right.
Because,
Some political parties opposing, criticizing this. How do you see this?
No, I don't see it thing like that. We youngsters welcome it.
Doesn't matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Right. So, youngsters welcoming this particular historic judgment, as they say it, Sonal. But yes, those LGBT communities, it's celebration time, and Chennai being a very broad-minded city in that sense, it's overall welcomed by everybody in the city here.
Well, I would say it's celebration time of all of India to finally come out of the shadows of this draconian law. Thank you, Sam Daniel, for joining us with all that perspective. Let's now give our viewers a glimpse of, you know, the interviews that we've done through the day. We caught up with Monika Guruswami. She's a lawyer who fought against Section 377. And, you know, she's one of those people who's had the most unequivocal voices on this one. Let's listen in to what she told NDTV a little while ago.
This first set of petitioners, Keshav Suri, came to court, the IIT petitioners came to court. These petitioners, with their courage, really have made this possible. The court has really made sure that they have vindicated their faith by arriving at a decision which is just so far a decision that is located in not just privacy but equality, dignity, non-discrimination, life, liberty, extraordinary array, wide-ranging judgment, locating itself firmly in the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution, and then speaking of the Constitution's commitment and the Court's commitment to constitutional morality, all the justices being very unequivocal, saying that it is not majoritarian morality, it is not societal morality, it is constitutional morality that is the only morality that will be is a defining feature of India as a constitutional democracy. So very, very big. We're thrilled with the far-ranging nature of this judgment, and we are especially honored to have represented our clients. This judgment is a foundation. As you know, the 4 separate judgments are only just available now online. We heard the bits that were delivered in court. I look forward to reading through the judgments carefully I think the wide-ranging nature of the judgments mean that this is a very firm foundation for a future. But we celebrate. We celebrate our court, we celebrate our constitution, and we celebrate these brave petitioners who brought this to court. I think we will read the judgments closely, and then in consultation with members of the LGBT community, in consultation with clients and the lawyers, we will then sort of arrive at some insights.
All right, strong words there from one of the petitioners who's fought this case throughout. But, all of the people, like we said, India is coming together on this verdict. The celebrities in Bollywood wasn't way behind. Nandita Das, who played a strong role in Deepa Mehta's controversial film Fire in 1996. Remember, that time the film also faced so much of backlash. There was banning and burning of posters as well. Imagine if that had come, the verdict had come then, it would have been a very different picture. Now, she says that she's been fighting for the rights of LGBT community for a very long time. She, along with Nawazuddin Siddiqui, spoke about the historic verdict with my colleague Rohit Khillani. Listen in.
It's a big day in Indian democracy. Nandita, first reactions on this big day on the verdict of Section 377.
Thrilled, absolutely delighted. I think at the time it was long overdue. My real engagement with the issue started with Fire, which was my first film 22 years ago. And I think somewhere I want to believe that it played its little part in the discourse, in making this a public discourse. And, I think the verdict, I'm going to read out again. I know you probably have read it, but when I read the LGBT community possesses rights like others, and majoritarian views and popular morality cannot dictate constitutional rights. I think Chief Justice saying that and saying that history owes an apology to LGBT communities. Decriminalization is but the first step. The Constitution envisages much more. And I think this is really amazing. I mean, it's rarely that the judiciary has spelt it out in such clear words. So, बहुत खुश हूँ. And I've been part of this campaign and the movement, and it's a big day for social justice and human rights.
नवाज भाई, बहुत लोगों ने इंडिया में इसके लिए सालों लड़ा है. आप उनको क्या कहना चाहेंगे? एक बड़ा कंग्रेचुलेशन सबसे पहले.
बहुत बड़ी खुशी की बात है, और आपके फ्रीडम को मतलब एक सम्मान दे के मतलब उसको वो किया गया है, तो सेलिब्रेशन वाली बात है हम लोगों के लिए,
सभी के लिए.
Of course, there will be people who will say this was always our basic right. It has come very late.
That's true, but better late than never.
All right, we heard the lawyers there, we heard celebrities, but even the corporate world has come out. In fact, they were the people, when we were flashing those pictures on your screen of Keshav Suri, he's a hotelier and also a petitioner in this case. And those pictures were taken right outside the Supreme Court. He's along with his husband at this point. They couldn't get married in the country, so they had to go all the way to France. They got married in Paris. But today he says, well, the next step is to get more rights for people in here. I caught up with the two a little while ago. Take a look.
What did the verdict really mean today? What was the first reaction that you had in your mind?
Oh my God, I was screaming, yelling, somersaulting, wanting to jump, kiss each and every one of the judges, kiss my husband,
That's his husband, by the way, behind me,
And I wanted to do all of that, but I controlled myself. I internalized it, as most Indians do. We learn how to internalize our emotions.
And you guys got married in France, right?
Yes, we did. Yes.
Yeah. Is this the next step forward? You were saying a little while earlier that the next step is?
I would hope so. Yeah.
When we talk about the legal fight, it's a great jubilance, but there were also times when people were almost at a point that we were all choking up while the verdict was being read out.
It was historic. In the 11 years of my practice, I've never seen a judgment pronouncement that lasts 1 hour. And there were 5 judges on the bench, but there were 4 judgments, and each one of them has, with a thumping judgment sort of struck 377 down. It was really a goosebump moment.
Yeah, but the response that we had from the government on this, many said the silence of the government spoke volumes, as they did not, they went on with the status
quo. Took a very measured, very balanced view. But I think we leave it to the discretion of the court. Much has happened in the last so many years since the Nas Foundation judgment, then Suresh Kaushal 2013. So I think the government now said, let the court, the custodian.
But today's the day to celebrate. I think that's what you're saying.
Exactly. Today's the day to celebrate, and honestly,
I see 377 just rolling up behind me. What is that about?
It's basically trying to say 7 years of Kirisu, and if Kirisu had the right, then Kirisu would make its own Section 777.
and what would Section 777 be about?
Pure love, inclusion, diversity, the right to marry,
and the 7 colors in the rainbow.
The 7 colors, yes, the rainbow. The whole country being painted as a rainbow.
Yeah.
And I think it'll just be unicorns and drag queens and love.
This is just the first step forward.
Yep.
What is going to be the next one?
I think for now, I just want to celebrate massively. I want to really celebrate this, absorb it, soak it, and then after that we will see. Of course, the doors have been opened by the judgment for so many next steps, whether it is equality, insurance, inheritance, marriage equality. Right now, I think societal acceptance is another step. I think we need to work with educational, institutes. I think that I think education is the next step. I think the vernacular media is the next step, and I think that getting us on the global map for being an inclusive and diverse country is the next step.
What did it mean when you had Indu Malhotra actually come out and apologize? She did not just strike it down, she apologized.
High time. High time, no, don't you think? I mean, 70 years, this community has been subjugated, and not just in this country, but even in so many others. Still till date, countries are not being able to have conversations like this.
I want to give your husband the last word in here.
Yes, I should always have the last word.
Yeah, you should, don't you?
What happened in a happy marriage, right?
Yes. What do you have to say when you saw? You were also in court today.
Yes.
Yeah.
I must say the judgments were really beautiful, and I think everybody must be very proud today to be Indian. It's really a big step forward.
Proud to be an Indian finally today. That's the verdict coming on from the corporate world as well. Time for us to slip into a short break. But on the other side, all the other news that made headlines through the day, we'll bring you a roundup of that. Don't go anywhere.